2008, when there were a couple of days when we thought a number of banks were going to become insolvent, would stop carrying on business. This was about 2 weeks after Lehman's had gone under. And I sat in my room thinking to myself, if the banks start going bust, that's the end of this firm. We'd already discussed what would we do if there weren't banks, and how do we pay our staff? How would our clients pay us? I mean, the looks of the world as we knew it was going to stop. And I thought, if we're going to, if this happens, I can't see how the firm could survive this. But I can't see how many businesses could survive it. It just looked a terrible, terrible situation, which was totally out of everyone's control, besides the government. And of course, fortunately, the government stepped in, and we didn't have the worst possible situation or a total breakdown of business. But that was a very, very scary 4 or 5 days, because there's nothing one could do about it. Just had to sit there and watch events unfold and hope for the best. I think on the other hand, when you know you can't do anything about it, it's out of your control, it's terribly worrying, but there's only so much worry you can put into it, because it's not like, I think it's far more worrying when for example, you realise you've done something wrong, you made a mistake, and it made it be very difficult to correct. I think that's a very worrying situation for anyone to be in. That's when you can't sleep and you really worry about something. This situation was so much out of my control, it wasn't something I could influence. So I'm pleased they didn't stop me sleeping. It was very, very worrying, but it didn't stop me sleeping. I think anyone who's an advisor has that feeling quite often, because at the end of the day, the person you're advising, they will decide what they're going to do or not going to do, and they'll decide whether they're going to take your advice or not. And that's, you can argue very persuasively, but at the end of the day, it's their decision. And so quite often, on a day-to-day basis almost, advisors find that they're not in complete control, because they can't cause the outcome. They have to rely on the person they're advising to decide on the outcome. So I think it's a very common situation to be in, that you have a certain amount of control, but not total control. And indeed, it's probably best to accept that and realise it.